Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Wings and Whispers, Kathy Beltran. I wanted to get started on step one of creating the angel wings. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and for anybody that's watching this first, go back and watch the introductory video. It will give you all the supplies that you're going to need for phase one of the creation of the angel wings. I wanted to get started. But first, let me go ahead and show you another little slideshow so you have an idea of what's to come. Welcome back. So a little bit of what to expect on creating your angel wings. Again, I will be creating another set of angel wings and hoping that you, the viewers, will work right along with me, making your own. We talked about the supplies you will need in the beginning of the project in the previous video, but again, you'll need a cutting board, cutting mat, or if you don't have that, something also to protect your table, your surface. You could also use some craft paper. When you're cutting the cardboard, you're definitely going to want to find something that will protect your table, whether that is a cutting mat or a piece of 2x2 foot particle board or something like that, something that's going to help you to protect your surface. The other things that you're going to need right away will be pencils, lots of sharpened pencils, erasers. You will need some some scotch tape. You may need rulers, different sizes depending on the size of the angel wings you're going to make. I will be making finished product of an angel wing set, probably about 41 inches long. So I will also work with one of my long rulers later on down the line in different videos here. The other thing you're going to need is tracing paper. And again, this tracing paper is like 24 inches long by 20 feet long. And you don't have to buy the huge roll that I had. You can get it on Amazon, probably in any of the craft stores or even Walmart. I also recommend if you don't want to go ahead and buy the roll, you could just buy the sheets of tracing paper and take maybe 6 to 8 sheets out, and take 3 or 4 on top lengthwise and use your scotch tape, and then take the next 3 or 4 underneath. So you just have like a nice shape of it. You're going to need that to help design your wings, draw out your wings. One thing I want to get out there right away is when I first started, I'm not a drawer. I don't sit there and I don't do great things with drawing, but I will keep trying. And with the wings, I did find it very difficult at first. And it took me hours with my cardboard and my roll of tracing paper, tons of pencils, and just drawing it out. And so don't be uninspired. Just just know that you'll get them. It'll take you some time to design your wings, but I'm going to give you some tips on how to do it easier. I mean, it's going to be easier for you. There's going to be some tools that you need. Like, this is a protractor. I absolutely use this in my first designs, trying to get the neck of the wing. So it pretty much fit right there perfectly. And you might have to, you know, go larger. You know, obviously I only have this one small one. So, but definitely get one. Your kids probably have one if you have kids. I bet you anything they'll have them. But typically like $1. So definitely get that. That's going to help you. Cardboard. We talked earlier in the other video about the type of cardboard that you can use. And I'm going to be using different dimensions of it. I just have so much of it from a previous move here. So I have sheets of it, and I have different thicknesses of it. And the box that I'm going to recommend for you, if you don't have a ton of it like I do, is I found a box from Walmart for you. It would be their large rectangular box. It's about 18 by 18 by 24. But when I look at the box, I don't really look at those dimensions. I look at the length. So in the end, what you're going to get is a 36-inch by 42-inch sheet. And what you're going to get with that is a lot of space. To work with it easier, and especially when you're going to do this first step, is I will take the box, never cut on the fold lines, never cut, like don't cut it off, because you're going to use that if you're going to depend on the size of the wings you have. So flatten the box out or open it up into a square and standing straight up, take some box cutters and cut the 4 sides all the way down. So you'll end up having 4 sheets of this 18 by 42.5 inches. That's what I want you to get. For the design, obviously I'm going to recommend that you go smaller, but that will be up to you with this dimension, however you want to do it. But you're going to probably need at least 3 of those boxes. So at Walmart, I think there were like a few bucks, if not under a few bucks. So again, 3 boxes, you're going to need that. And then we're going to talk about the thickness. So if you see my wings, the wings, each layer has depth to it. So the bottom layer, I use double walled cardboard, which typically come from like wardrobe boxes. They're very heavy boxes. The Walmart box is single wall. So what that means is that you have 2 sheets of paper and 1 center cardboard that's kind of wiggly. It's very easy to cut through. Excuse me, very easy to cut through. But it will start hurting after you've went through, you know, 6 or 9 sheets of things that you have to cut out. The double walled is much harder to cut through, but you can still do it. So what you'll do is, if you use this, you're going to get 1/2 inch in your base layers, in all your layers. The end result will be about 1/2 inch. So if you wanted more dimension, more thickness to it, then you would need 6 of these boxes, because your layers will, each layer will have multiple layers already. So you're going to have to add, many more to that. So what I want to do is get started and get this going on. First, I've already told you, you can draw. You'll figure it out. It will go. But get inspiration. So what I did was I just Googled angel wings, went to Pinterest, and started looking at the drawings. Lucky enough, I think I had a little statue of angel wings, and I think that became my inspiration for this one. But there are so many different lessons that you can do that will give you tips on how to draw. So, but for me, this is how we're going to start. So you have your cardboard in front of you. You have your tissue roll. And what you're going to do is, whatever size tissue you have, you're going to cut it to the dimensions of your working space. So it would be, and you can go over, it really doesn't matter, the width of it. So it would be like 18 inches long by, I believe I said 42.5 inches long by 18 inches wide. you'll cut that out. And then what you'll end up having is, oops, let me make sure, you'll have your sheet of paper, tracing paper, and you'll fold it in half. So I have folded in half. Mine is much wider than this one. So you're gonna get your pencils out, and you're going to already be inspired. You're going to try to work with it. This will be your friend, I'm telling you, to get your base down, the protractor. So what I want you to do is turn it over. I mean, I'll go with the right side, having it on the fold on my left side. And all you're going to do is try to sketch half of your wings. You're not going to sketch the whole thing, because what you want in the end is the whole thing to be evenly proportionate. You want there to be complete balance in the length and all the subsequent feathers. So what I would do is I would take one of these. You can even use a bowl. I mean, I think I did a bowl one time. And go halfway down the center and put it where you want to start. But what you want is you want your cardboard underneath, your one sheet of cardboard underneath, so that you have an idea. You want to square it up. If you're going to use the whole thing, you're going to want to absolutely square it up. So from here, I would kind of trace out at the bottom your outer half circle, half of that half circle, so a quarter. And you will come up with something similar to this, which you can see. I think you can barely see it, but again, one of the things I'm going to tell you is when you're doing your design is to don't do it so darkly, because you're going to find that you're going to erase and you're going to erase and you're like, ah, that doesn't look good. And then you're just going to kind of do that. So here you go like this, a quarter of that half circle. And then you're just kind of going to go out like that with a tip. And then you're going to come down. I know this is the hard part, is trying to show you how to draw. But again, like I told you, it took me hours to figure it out. So what I have done is I started out, I have so many of these because I've made so many wings. So luckily enough, I have a lot of my base plans. I actually, every time I make a design, I transfer it multiple times, because what you'll find is if you end up making a lot of these for friends or family or whatever, or even yourself, your tracing paper is going to start getting bit where you're tracing the line so much. So, and then as you keep using the same design over and over, your perfect, beautiful line is going to be getting, super thick. And then now your dimensions are going to just start getting bigger with each with each piece you cut. They're just going to get slightly bigger. And when you put it together, you're going to be like, what the heck? How come each one is just a little bit longer? And then you have like this edge to the wings, to the whiskers, to the feathers. So what I recommend is taking your time and walking away. So once you get like a basic design out, walk away, look at it from afar, until you like that part, until you like it. You can still make changes later on when we open this up. But so here would be how I would start out. Obviously, I'm not dead center, so I would do this. So that would be, this is a completely different layer than the layer that we're working on. This would be maybe a top layer or a middle layer for me, depending on the loom size I'm doing. So once you got your shape that you wanted, here on the wings, or the feather part, you'll see that I gradually drop down and kind of do that, take another one, and I'm just slowly going down. And I turn the workspace. So here you see a lot of stuff on my table. Normally I have two of these tables together and nothing on it but what I'm working on at the moment. So when you get to the center and you've got it all perfect to what you want, say you're happy with this, you're going to turn it around and you'll see your design through it. And what you're going to do is you're going to make sure it doesn't move, and you're going to trace the opposite side. And when you're done, you're going to open it up, and you're going to see your wings, your whatever layer you're working on. You're going to see the whole thing, and it's proportionate. It's going to be perfect for you. So you're going to go back over, so you have one side with your design. Now you're going to go back over and darken it. And once it's darkened, this design, this layer, is going to be ready to transfer to your cardboard. And so, what I want to show you before we do that, because with my designs, you're going to have 3 layers. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, my chair just went up. Okay, so you're going to have 3 layers to this design. And so I want to show you how I do it, because I just like to save time. But maybe for you, what I would do is when you're designing your next layer, the one that is going to be, the first layer is the one that you're going to work on first. So actually I should have showed you the other one. So what I'm going to show you is my first layer. So if I'm making medium-sized wings, this will be my base layer. This will be the one that I just showed you how to do it, how to draw it out using your tools. And then when you've got that done, you can either, like I said, you're going to trace onto it. What I would also do, so you have multiple copies of this, because you're going to cut multiple copies of it, get another sheet, trace that one out so you have a perfect extra copy. What I do, because I'm used to doing this now, is I'll take that same one and I will draw the next set as a guideline. So I don't have to go and start again with the protractor. I can use my main base as my guide for my second layer. And so from there, you'll just kind of want to follow it. You don't want to follow it perfectly with this line, the second feather here. You want to drop down below it. And then sometimes you can, so you'll see I'm overlapping. And then when you're done, you trace the other side. Now, at this point, you definitely make sure to have some craft paper under the table when you're doing the tracing, if you're going to follow what I'm doing, because, sorry about that, you're going to see lots of markings transferred to your surface if you don't have that protection there. So again, you would get to the other side, trace it, and in the end, you would have 2 layers already done. So what you're going to do is you're going to, from that step, get another sheet of paper for you, and transfer that second layer to a new sheet. So you have, now you have this one that has, you know, if you're going to go my way, you have this already. But you also have 2 clean sheets with your designs on it to use, again, in case these rip, or to make new ones later on. So you don't have to start all over. And trust me, if you try to say, oh, you totally didn't do that step and you want to trace this out, that's going to be very hard because now you've got everything together. Excuse me. So I'm going to show you one more. So this would be one of the bigger wings and how we did it. So again, half. You want to make sure to draw in your lines too, lightly, to show the different feathers. And then when you open it, obviously it's going to be pretty big, right? So this would be, I would consider your base layer. The thing smaller. Base layer, second layer, and this last, the first one that we pulled out would be your top layer. So what I want you to do is get inspired. Start getting this stuff out. Start drawing. And like I said, walk away. Sometimes what I had to do was pull it out, and I would get my camera and I would take a picture of it and walk away and kind of look at the pictures I took, because then I'd be like, oh, that one feather is just way too long. I need to push that up a little bit more in the design, or I need to make it rounder. The tip needs to be more, have more of a perfect tip. You can do whatever you want, the design that you want. So there's a few tips that I want to talk to you about transferring, because you're going to have to do that as well. So that would be step one, getting your design, getting everything down. And the transferring part isn't hard, but you're going to want to, let me get this one. You're going to want to tape this down using your either masking tape or your Scotch tape to your board. So this design, finished design, has a place and will not move, because if you try to do it freehand and you don't do it dark enough, you're going to open it up and realize that only, you know, this part and all of this detail down up in here didn't transfer over. So you're going to really want to work it. You're really going to want to go over it. And I kind of do this just so you can see, is I'll stay on the line and I will do this. So my lines will get bigger. And when I told you earlier, I don't know if I told you in this video or the one prior, if you end up getting these lines and they start getting thicker and thicker, it compromises your original design, because now each layer is going to get bigger and bigger depending on where you traced on. So tape everything down, transfer it, and you can always lift one side up and keep that part in and look. And if you've got everything transferred, then you can take it off, put it away, look at it, and then you should have, if you're with my wings, obviously this isn't the one, we'll pretty much take up this board. And I will make sure, because I don't want to waste my cardboard, especially if I have nice long sheets. So get your designs down, get your cardboard ready, get all the supplies that you need, and get to creating. I mean, design your wings. If you have questions, reach out to me. Join the Facebook group. Okay, so I can't remember if I mentioned that already. We do have a Facebook group called Wings and Whispers, and that is for viewers and listeners of the YouTube channel Wings and Whispers, where you can come in and share the work that you're doing with your angel wings that you're creating right along with me. Ask any questions, get advice from other members that are going through the same thing. But it's a great place to share, and it's an easy place for you to ask me questions, because I'm absolutely going to get that message faster than I would YouTube on a comment. So again, that's Wings and Whispers, and I'm excited to get started, but this is, I'm going to tell you, the hardest part drawing your own wings, because you want it to be perfect. And like I said, I'm telling you, it took me hours just to get one layer done, drawn out. And even then, I had to look at it again and again and again. And in my design and the wings that you're going to do, you're going to do 3 of these. So you're going to do your base layer, which is this one. So you want your biggest shape out first on your first sheet of paper. Then when you got that done, you're going to make copies and whatnot. Then you're going to get another sheet of paper or draw directly on your base one. And you're going to go from big, and you're going to go, the next layer is going to go smaller, which is your middle layer. And if you can see, probably over here because of the lighting, there is the difference, the lengths. So mine are really big, but all my wings aren't, you know, this long. And even the middle side, the medium sized wings, the wing tips from the second one from the third one aren't that, you know, they're not that far apart. So play around with it. And know that after you do your second one and you make copies of your sketch, you'll do your final third. And so your sheet will either look like the one I have that has multiple designs on it, or you will have individual ones like this. So when you have all three, you're going to be ready to transfer to your cardboard. Again, you can do it whichever way you want. You can draw all three of them out and then do your transferring, and then take another day to do all your cutting, or take a couple days. It could take you time. Trust me, it's taken me time. So what I want to share with you on the next part is I'm going to give you the tools that I use for my cutting. I'm sure some of you might have some great ideas. I've tried little saws, I've tried all these different things, but what ends up happening is I really rip through the cardboard. I was even thinking of using my jigsaw, but I'll forget it. I just use my favorite friend here, which is my X-Acto knife. So there are different types of X-Acto knives. You could buy one individually, and they usually come with a couple blades, extra blades. Or you can get sets. So I bought these ones. This one came with 2 of these and in a nice little box, and it had a bunch of different sizes, specialized blades for certain things. I pretty much basically use the same blade. I just buy replacements. You can buy those at Walmart as well. But after cutting, and if you're cutting single wall cardboard, it's not gonna be that hard. But what you'll find out is the blades start to get dull, and you're like, oh my God, why is it taking harder? I mean, why is it taking so much long to get through this? You'll want to be able to replace your blade as well. But sometimes when you're cutting, like if you're cutting right down the corrugated part, right through it, straight down, it's gonna go super fast. But when you're cutting across, like I'm just gonna say across the grain, which is across the corrugated, you're going to find it start to get jagged, and you're really, really going to have to push on it. So having one of these, kind of like a rubber area here, will help your fingers. And if you don't have one of these and you choose to use one of these, you can also get these rubber pencil. I think it's the pads for the rubber pencils. You know, you can get like, what, 30 for like $1 somewhere in the school section. Use those and push those up. And if you have to tape them, go ahead and tape them. But I'm telling you, when you're cutting, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I need that, or I need to put gloves on or something. Excuse me. This is where you're gonna need, when you get to this part of cutting, you're going to have self-awareness of where you're cutting. If you're cutting on the floor, have a big piece of plywood or something like that. Like I said, I have it's not powder coat board, but what I have is a 2 foot by 2 foot square, 1/2 inch thick only, plywood piece. And if I'm on the floor cutting something big, and sometimes these can be pretty big, you can use them under your table too. But when I sit on the floor, I will angle the plywood like on my knee. And as I'm cutting, I know where that knife, that tip is going to be, where my body is, where my legs are. So be very careful when you're cutting, and take breaks with it, because the last thing you want to do is, start to get a repetitive injury. And trust me, I know what that is. I do have that sometimes. So again, get your 3 designs out. Do your layers. Do your base layer first, which is your main body, the big layer. Get the second layer done. Do that. And then your 3rd layer. And so when you start to transfer, one of the things I'm going to tell you, so you have your first sheet. I'm going to fold this up a little bit. You've traced it really good, and it's got enough markings on there. So when you turn it around to transfer it to your cardboard, it's going to, wherever you trace, it's going to copy a mark. It might not be so dark on the board, but you'll be able to see it. And then when you're done, you can pull this off and kind of go over it with your own pencil. Any parts where you need to darken it. So when you cut it, you'll see that perfect, the line of it. So when you have already transferred your first drawing, your first layer, you have one drawing on your cardboard. you'll grab your second sheet and of cardboard, which you should have 4 if you cut one box from Walmart or the large box. Grab your second thing, and what you'll do is you'll just flip this over again, and you'll have markings on both sides. So you'll go ahead and transfer that one. And then again, when you're done with that, you make sure everything is, your design transferred completely, and you can go over to darken it on all around the edge only. I wouldn't darken all the lines down the center. Then go ahead and do your third one. So you're going to do that for each. So 3 layers, 3 sheets of cutouts for each layer. And once you have that done, you will be ready for step number 2, which is the shaping, the sculpting. And that's kind of the fun part, because then I get to talk to you about water. And so I'm going to let you know about this. So when you do your sculpting, your molding and shaping, you're going to need a very large bottle of water and a spray bottle. And I like to do a little something extra with that. I love to add essential oil. I love to add sage oil to it. And with a big bottle, I'll typically drop in 20 drops of essential oil. The other thing that I add is holy water. I grew up Catholic, definitely not practicing it, but I love the idea of the holy water, the blessed water. And so there will be a link to a DIY creating your own holy water. And so I have that. I add the holy water to the bottle. So when I'm shaping, not only, and you're going to spend hours doing that, you're going to have this beautiful fragrance come through. To me, it's like adding love, blessings, and while you're working, you're actually asking or doing a little prayer for it, because what you want is to have this almost sacred item when you're done. And if you're going to give it to somebody, it's like this super protected blessing coming into their home. And it's just a wonderful thing. So definitely, you'll definitely want to do that. So these are the basic first steps for you. It's going to take you some time. And I do want to show you a few of the layers. So my first layer, I've got so many things around here because I'm doing multiple videos at the same time for you guys. This is one of my first cutouts that I'll be using. So here it is. So what you'll see is a fold line, because I'm using much bigger cardboard than this. It's actually single wall as well. So the tips for later on these fold marks, you'll get those later deeper into the videos as we go. So don't worry about that. If you're trying to really angle all of your transfers onto your cardboard to maximize how much cardboard you have left. So just work it. Like I said, I go over, it doesn't even matter. So with my first layer done, my drawing's done, I actually have this. But what you're seeing is my shape piece, because I want to show you how this is going to be. It is, you can't really tell, but it is actually a ½ inch thick here. So this is my base piece. And these are my other cutouts that I've done. So this is my middle piece. And I actually have 3. I don't have the other one here. And then this is my top piece, and which I have 3 here. So I'm ready. I'm ready to get started with this, with my shaping and molding, which will be your second video. So again, thank you for being here. I hope you understood all my directions. Don't forget getting one of these protractors, lifesaver, in your drawings. Again, join the Facebook group. Share with us what you're doing with your angel wings, your designs, and any questions you have. You can find that at Wings and Whispers Facebook group. Up on the top of my channel, there's a subscribe button to the actual YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe there. And then join the Facebook group where you'll see a little link up there for Wings and Whispers Facebook group. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful to have you here, and I can't wait to start this beautiful project with you. Have a great day and happy creating, everyone.